Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about breathing for singing. Now, if you haven't gotten a chance to watch the video on posture, pause this, go back and watch that. It's really critical for you to gain a solid understanding of posture before you start talking about breathing for singing. All right, breathing for singing. One of the most important pillars of technique. Why? Because it fuels your sound, it can help you quell your anxiety and breathe life into your interpretations. Breathing, obviously, is just about everything, because if you didn't breathe, well, you know how that would end. All right, so breath is critical. That said, what are we doing when we breathe for singing? When we breathe for singing, we want to take a nice deep breath. I don't mean a deep breath though, like when you go to the doctor and he puts a stethoscope on your sternum. That's this breath. That's not what we're looking for in singing. That's, by the way, called a tidal breath. We are looking for a nice low abdominal breath. So what physically are we doing? We're gonna inhale, pushing the diaphragm, which is this muscle at the base of the lungs. So you have your lungs here and then your diaphragm underneath. You want that diaphragm to push down and out, displacing all of the vital muscles and organs in your abdomen. Push it down and out. Okay, they call this your viscera or your guts. Push them all down and out, and then you engage the core muscles and you control the diaphragmatic movement as your abdomen is coming in. So you want to inhale, abdomen out, exhale, abdomen in. Now, we are not actually breathing into our lower abs. Don't tell anyone. It just feels like we are, because we're moving all of that stuff around. And that's really critical for you to know, because what you want to do is train the muscles around the abdomen to control what's happening in that midsection. And a fun fact, by the way, the lower the diaphragm, the better. Why? Because for every inch you get lower in your diaphragmatic movement, you get an additional liter of air in your body. So really critical, try to get that movement nice and down and out. So you inhale, the abdomen out, exhale, the abdomen comes in. That's your first step. Inhale, abdomen out, exhale, abdomen in. So why do I like to hiss when I'm first doing this? Because the hiss gives a little bit of resistance to the breath as it exhales, which mimics what the vocal folds are going to do when we're singing. So first level, practicing breath, practice that mechanic of the abdomen going out when you inhale, and as you exhale, creating a hissing sound, mimicking what you're gonna do when you're singing. Really important, by the way, as you're building this beginning foundational breath, to practice both strength and flexibility at the same time. So when you're doing that hissing breath, inhale, abdomen out, leave your hands out. And try to hit that target every time. What you'll discover is as you do successive repetitions of that breath, oftentimes the abs will come in just a little bit. They'll creep in, creep in, creep in. And if you don't make a real mindful decision to release and literally push those muscles, those abdominal muscles out every time, they will creep in a little bit, a little bit, a little bit each phrase. Now, if you're doing that in your exercises, it's not so horrible. But if you do that in a song, by the time you're finished with your song, you have no more abdominal breath because you've essentially locked yourself out of it. So remember, always try to shoot for that range of motion and the consistency of the range of motion, because the first inhalation will be the easiest to push the abdominal wall out. Now, some of you guys might have a hard time with this, and you may discover that your abs are only moving a little tiny bit. Well, good for you, because your abs are pretty tight. But unfortunately, you're gonna have to really work to develop some flexibility in that abdominal wall to get the diaphragmatic breath to really push down on the abdominal wall and have that movement be nice and full. So inhale, abdomen out, exhale, abdomen in. As you get better at that, you can start to meter your breath and add a count to your hiss. So you could inhale for 4 beats and then hiss for 8. easier that gets, you can expand the time. So if you want to make breathing exercises harder, make them slower, make them longer, or vary the mechanic. So you could theoretically do some staccatos. So that would look like this. And keep the movement in that little triangle space that you've created with your fingers. So that's another way to make it more challenging. The next step in practicing this would be to add a lip trill. We love training in lip trills. Why? Because a lip trill directly asks your body for the exact right amount of air for the pitch and the phrase that you're about to sing. So you're training the breath to sound ratio on that lip trill. Really critical. And a lip trill goes like this. Now you can do a lip trill just like I did without pitch, but as you get more comfortable with it, add that pitch in. It can be as basic as, or you can start playing with arpeggios. If you find that relatively easy, my next piece of advice would be to take one of the pieces of your repertoire and try lip trilling all of your phrases. That's an excellent way to technically prepare one of your pieces because it actually trains that breath to sound ratio on something specific, like the phrases that you're gonna sing. All right, guys, that's it for today. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. But in the meantime, just keep singing.